Today I wanted to talk about why owning a lot of low value properties can be better than owning one high value properties. So my name is Thomas O'Regan, and over the last 3.5 years, me and my wife built an 11 property portfolio, and all these properties were cheapy properties. But the thing about all these properties that we've bought is they have all increased a lot in value over the 3.5 years we've bought them, far more than what the best property advisor would ever project for a property portfolio to grow. I'm not going to get into how that happens, but today I just wanted to speak to you guys about the difference between, say, buying a $1 million property versus buying, say, five $200,000 properties. So I would say one of the big benefits that you get from buying five properties for the same price as you would buy one is, first of all, you have five income streams. So it is far less risky from a cash flow perspective to own five low value properties versus one high value property, because the reality is, when it comes to investing, sometimes it doesn't always go as planned, and you have what you call vacancies, where you don't have rental income because there's no one in the property that you own as an investment. So if, for example, you own one property and you have a vacancy of a month, that is the equivalent of every single one of your five properties that you would otherwise own being vacant all at the same time. Okay, so it's very unlikely that you're going to have five vacancies at the same time, as it, like, comparing if you just had one property. It's more risky to have one property that's a high value, basically, if you're looking at it from a cash flow perspective. Another thing is, if you're buying properties that are like high value properties, you're buying into a market that is a lot smaller, and there's a lot less room for these properties to grow in an upwards direction, because once if you're buying at $1 million these days or above, there's a lot smaller pool. The pool of buyers is a lot smaller than it otherwise would be if you're buying properties for, say, $200,000. And what I'm saying is, a $200,000 property it's much easier for a $200,000 property to go to $400,000, as a lot of my properties have, opposed to buying $1 million property and that going from $1 million to $2 million in a short period of time. Like, some of the properties we bought for around $180,000, and years later they were worth close to $400,000. 2 years later. When I say years later, I mean 2 years later. Okay, so that is effectively, the property value is doubling. Imagine that happening with a property that's worth $1 million. Imagine buying a property that's $1 million and then coming back 2 years later and buying the property for $1 million, coming back 2 years later and the property is worth $2 million. I don't know if I said that right. Imagine buying a property for $1 million, coming back 2 years later and it's worth $2 million. That shit just doesn't happen. But it is a lot more common when you see these properties that are very low value doubling, because at a point in time everyone realizes, okay, there's no properties that are at this value left anymore, therefore the value just shoots up because it's like the last properties ever available at that value. Anyway, guys, that's just a short video I've done here on the difference between buying one property versus buying five low value properties, and why we prefer to buy properties that are low value. Hope that helped. See you. Bye.